Here we go, guys. Here we go. All right. Let's get to the day chart. And today we are going to revamp my my chart. Actually, I'm gonna take care of it a little bit more. Let's get detailed. I want to see some levels in this thing. Okay, and I want. Holy God. See, I have a lot of stuff on here that this was actually huge. Oh no, actually, I'm not sure what we're seeing here. All my stuff's on here. 1 hour. Oh, that's the one right there. Good. That's kind of coinciding with this bearish or this. It's actually a bullish order block right here on the daily chart, right? Actually, a bullish one, but an inverse, and there's even an inverse fair value gap right here. But this is a large level right there, and I'm gonna delete this. That's pretty far back there. Um, that's probably, and I'm going to take that off too. I want to really get detailed here, and that way we have a good, clear vision of what's going on. We are above all this stuff right here. But yesterday was a huge, large ranging day. Okay. Huge. This was a key here for this 4 hour order block right here. Get Fed movement down, Fed movement up. Bounced off of it one more time. I'll be damned. That's crazy. And then fed it back up. Interestingly enough, though, let's check this out on the daily chart. I'm just gonna go through and delete a lot of things today. I need to clean things up just a hair and get some more upfront levels, and then I could redo them and be a little bit more orientated with what I'm actually marking up right here. Okay, we're way up there, man. It's crazy. So let's just say this is an order block for a bullish movement. Let's just see how far it dug into it. This is gonna be a good one, boys and girls. By boys and girls, I mean just basically the zero followers I have. So it did close past 50%. It did wick the bottom of it. Let's check. Maybe you could say that this guy right here is actually the parent order block. Holy God, to that past previous high, daily order block, right? Let's just see where we're at. 50% of this guy. Well, it did wick, and then let's just clean that up. We want just that 50% mark, really. And that way we'll be able to see it a little bit more clearly. Let's put it to a color like blue. And that's interesting, right? So we had a little gap down here. That's probably a new day opening gap. I maybe deleted. Interesting there. If anything, it's just this, the electronic trading hours. But now we got that 50% of a daily order block. So let's get back to the. That's what I'm going to put there. It kind of delineates that same area. So it's going to be mean threshold, which is 50%. And it didn't close below it. It opened and left. It opened below it and left, but it never closed below it on a daily basis. And then it fed it several times and rejected. So I'd say this is a good level to mark down mean threshold. Let's go 1D bullish OB for order block, and this was on 8-1. 8-1. So now, that's almost that's my goal. Is I'm gonna start to get a little bit more detailed in this, okay? And really label everything the best I can, okay? That's the plan. And like I said, we're going from scratch today, so I'm gonna delete some of this stuff. I hope I'm not deleting too much, because I do actually want to capture some of, because we're gonna go over Friday's price action. and that massive move up. Man, if I've ever seen a bullish setup, I was actually, my fault. I actually caught a pretty good move on the way up there. And it was like the perfect hourly setup. Like our bullet, everything was bullish, and it came back into like a impregnable area. It couldn't go any. It was like it was gonna be a stretch for it to go lower from where it finally took off on Friday, and with or without news, I mean, it was like perfectly engineered. Even because the day before it faked it faked the up move kind of, and then it teared down. I'm glad it didn't delete this. It teared down this 4-hour order block, 4-hour BISI. I mean, teared down it perfectly, and that's the movement we saw here. Actually, right here in this candle. So you got all 4 levels of this BISI. It didn't reach it there, but it left a lot of liquidity right there, right? And then it came, touched this one, came, touched this one, came, touched this one, came, touched this one. And then so it rejected, it's tear step this perfectly. That's what I like to call that. Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure where we're looking at this. We'll check that out on the hourly. But a massive move up. And it got into this bearish breaker. That's something I had up there for a while that I highlighted in a couple of other videos. Beautiful spot for it to reject from, right? Let's just measure this wick too. Because looks like we got a I just want to measure this wick real quick. Didn't fail to reach 50% of that wick, so that's a good sign. I might put that level back up, but looks like we got a good little new day opening gap. What? Anyways, so that's what we got so far on the daily. I'm going to actually put, So it'd be nice to have this fair value gap delineated, right? I'm thinking so. And I might take this off. We'll see. I'm going to leave it on there in case we get any significance out of that. But, I mean, it did respect it. Right there. Opened above it, traded below it. Let's go down to the 4-hour and let's see what we see. We'll go back out to that daily candle, because I would like to have at least the mean threshold. So that's that rejection. I traded down and I traded up. That was the ghost. I tried to be at least. You can't really see that fair value gap inside of here on this one, but you can. It also, there's some confluence. Mean threshold of that order block right there. So any entry in this zone, I actually got in at an inopportune time, but it gave me the move I needed for my profit goal that day. So that's cool. And then, so I was actually in it in this candle, right? You could say. And I wanted it to give back 25% because this had not formed yet. It opened here, and I was like, it'll give back 25% of this range at least. And that's kind of where I based my profit target. And so happens like 25, it reached 25% and it went a little bit further, but there was a one last stop. I felt like it wanted to run right there. So now we're getting a little bit better picture. We're in this 4-hour fair value gap right there. And again, after a big range days, it's always good to sit still. And it's a Monday, and I don't think there's any big news coming out this week, like on Thursday, to prompt us to jump into the market on Monday. Like if there's something big on Thursday, then maybe. And it's the last week of August. August is sketchy. Conservative approach to this week, maybe. But if there's a setup, we'll take it, right? I'm thinking that. I do want to have this. And then we're going to go fib retracement. Oop. And actually, we're going to put this one in red. And we'll go settings, red. Again, I'm going to be doing all this stuff. I'm setting up my chart brand new for this, for what we got going on here. And I'm going to be a little bit more detailed with it. So are those all the levels? Yep. And you can't add text here, but you can right here. So this is, and I'm going to do this for every single one. This is going to be a 4H Sibi. Okay. And I'll go ahead and highlight that, copy it, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. Command V. I should have put the date, but Command V. I missed one. Command V. Command V. Should have put the date. And actually a good idea for that excuse me. Actually a good idea for that daily candle is to mark out the daily highs and lows, and then maybe the mean threshold, or it wouldn't be the mean threshold because it'd be a daily fair value gap. It'd be consequent encroachment of that daily fair value gap. So those are the levels we'll have there. We have this 4-hour busy now, so we have some things to work with moving forward. But let's go down to the hourly and let's check out what we're seeing. So I want to go over Friday's motion. It was pretty dead, honestly. Pretty simple move. So we don't have to spend too much time on it, right? This is the move I'm talking about. It faked up, right? And it came all the way back down to here. Okay? And right in this zone, right, is so if you see what it did this day, it came up, faked it, it failed attempt to get to these highs, failure swing, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, and then it came lower. So I felt like it almost prompted everybody to think the same thing was going to happen. Like, oh, this is resistance up here. It's going to do the same thing it did yesterday, right? We're talking if we're in Friday, but if you look, yesterday there was lots of lows to be taken, right? There was this daily low was really what it came back for, and then there's maybe a couple of other lows that was mainly the only one that hung it up. Whenever it failed to get, I'm not sure exactly how it managed to do this. I forget, but there was we'll see it maybe in a lower time frame. It left a equal low down here. It came close to it, left an equal low, rode away from it. I'm pretty sure there's another lower down here if we're not into the 1 hour chart. But then it came, boom. And now we know it bounced off of 50% of the mean threshold of the daily order block, bullish order block. Great to know that now. Boom. We could have had that freaking knapsacked right there. Okay. And actually, on one of my accounts, I did catch that long. And it was based off of 50% of this guy. Because I was like, if it remains bullish after taking that low, what's the closest one I could get? And so, what was it? That's not even looking right. Because I feel like it was really close to a 50% level. Wasn't even that one. Well, this guy, top of this 1 hour order block. Because it dug all the way down to 50% of that. That's why I got to do these Friday videos right after they occur. And maybe I deleted something important. That's frustrating. Let's go down to the 15-minute. But actually, let's talk about some of the structure here, and then we'll move on. This is actually okay. That's what happened. Okay, so this move up I actually caught with one of my accounts is this one. This happened in Asia. Boom. And it dug down even further. But that's okay. So that's the talking point I wanted to go over here. So it came down. Boom. It failed to reach 50% right here of this order block, right? But it closed above it. Okay. And then this one, it takes so it failed to reach it, and it closed above 25% or whatever. It failed to reach 50%. This one, it dug down into it, but still closed over 50%. So this bullish order block right here is still relevant on the hourly chart, right? And so now we're looking at this chart, okay, and we see that this PD array was respected, okay. And then let's take this forward for future. Let's do this, and I just want that 50%. That's really what I want on there, because I want to be able to see, like, if it comes back down and it closes past this 50% on a we're looking at this for support, so I'm going to put it green. If it closes past this point, then we could say, you know what? And this is mean threshold 1HOB. And then we kind of could see where the candle is coming from, but we're going to do 820 on 820. Okay, so I'm trying to get me organized so much, man. I think I'm really close to something special, so something special for me, you know, whether it's noteworthy for everybody else, that remains to be seen. Okay. So this is absolutely beautiful what happens here today on this little candle right here, right? We're looking at this. There's no, like, these lows are so staggered down here. I mean, that's kind of close. Decently close. Maybe it will come back to this, right? But it has to get through. It has to get through this breaker right here. Okay. So we got a low, a high, and a lower low. So this is a breaker, right? And so this is a 1 hour. Screw it. We'll label this because it did react off of this. This is a 1 hour. Oh God, not that one. Where is it at? We want a horizontal ray. So this, and then we'll put this one green too, because it's not a new day opening yet, but we do have to get that. We'll get to that once we get to that movement up top. Green. And then we want to settings, text, and this is a 1H. I wish there was a abbreviation for a breaker, like BB. Bullish breaker. Block. BBB. And then that was on. I'll do that because then you could kind of. I'm on the hourly chart all the time, right? When we're doing these things. Okay. And there's actually a double breaker right here too. So actually I want to get the day of that. So that was 8/22. So let's fix this up. Because then we could kind of like start to see, okay, where is this from? If we do move it forward, if it doesn't come back down here for a long time, right? So that's a 1 hour breaker right there. But something even cooler, guys, is there's a double breaker situation here. So this is stuff I was very proud of myself whenever I was processing this, because I was like, okay, it came and it rejected off of 50%. It didn't close over 50% of this 1 hour level. I just put this one. That's 50% of a daily bullish order block. So it respected both of them. Okay, bullish PD arrays are being respected. All right, at this point, and the stops are kind of separated, and there's not too many of them, right? And then on the contrary, if we look up here, and this is So okay. So all right. We have this is going to be a little bit of an explanation, okay? So we got these, right? And actually I actually put like 2 lots or 3 lots from down here. I think it was 3 to up here, and that's a $4,000 move, guys. 3 lots from like right in this zone, or maybe it was like in this zone, right? 3 lots to up here. That's $4,000. By the way, I just seen ICT put 14 lots on something, hold it for 18 hours, 100 grand, and it's probably pretty easy to see it coming. That's why he left it on. You know what I mean? There's a liquidity. It reached this high. It's probably a daily, imbalance that it reached. And then there's probably a sweet pot of liquidity down there. I mean, it's that simple with some market context. But we got this, right? But now, and actually I'll wait for the next part of it once we get down to the 15-minute time frame. And we'll break this move down again. Because there's a this close there's a real-time trading hours gap right up here. There's an RTH gap. That's what I call it. Opening range gap, however you want to call it. And it reaches up into this so beautifully, man. That's crazy. So we know what this is from, the 4-hour SIBI. Okay. Now we're trading below it, but we haven't got to the bottom of it. An interesting look at where that rejects from, the bottom of that 4-hour SIBI. All right. So we're going to see how it treats this. Is it going to staircase it? Is it going to get to the bottom and reject off? All right. So now we're in a dilemma. What kind of time frames do we want to do? Because now we got this guy right here, right? Which I am going to label. I'm going to label that hourly BISI. Is this 4 hour? Does this come up on the 4 hour? Yeah, it does. Let's do the 4-hour BISI. Let's do that. So that's why we got to get the dates on that one. Now this one seems a little outdated, but now we'll have the dates. Shoot. It's okay. This is from, and we're going to have some overlap there, but it's okay. And I will delete this guy right here, actually. Let's do that now. Because we have some other like powerful levels that are working around it. But what do we have here? This is a breaker. So I'm going to label the high and the 50% of that breaker right there. Because we're going to watch. We're going to see why here in a second. So let's go fib. Actually, what are we doing? This is the hourly. This is the 4-hour BISI, right? Which it was already messing with, and it's from 8.6. So, bear with me. And then, is there a way to make this text larger, though? Like, values, middle, font size? Yeah, maybe 10. That looks pretty good. I like that. They kind of stand out a little bit better. I might be a little bit too big for my phone, because I do trade from my phone. 8.6. So we'll just have to go through each one. 8.6. Oop. And maybe actually I should put this font smaller. Can a tab work? Oh, no, it doesn't. And I'll put the other one bigger to help me separate them. Really excited. So this is journaling, man. This is setting. It's also setting me up, right? It's also setting me up for some good analysis moving forward. Okay. This is a breaker. I love that. And we got this little fair value gap inside that breaker, which I am definitely, because I mean, look at this. This is beautiful. Like, where's it going to retrace to? In the end, no, that's not even, this isn't a breaker, right? But it is an order block. Could be seen as like a chain of this little segment right here is the up movement, the order block. This is maybe like, order block inside of an order block, maybe a propulsion block on the hour chart, 4-hour chart. Breaker fair value gap right there. Okay, so we got that one. Now let's do this one. This is a 4-hour BISI. The most relevant one. Man, that was a huge move up there. And now, now we have some conflicting stuff here. So let's get a... And actually the other one should probably be lighter, but... How does that look? A little bit different. I like that. So the second one down. Definitely tell it's green, not white. It's a little too light. Cool. So now this is a 4-hour BISI from 822. Oops, excuse me. And it's like, why didn't you do this before? Well, it's kind of cool. Maybe it's kind of cool. You could see how I do it. I don't know. So, 4H BISI 8-22. And then now I'm going to try to copy that. And then we'll place it in this one. I think this is something I just found out that you could do this, and I think it's wonderful because I was like, man, I can't. On your phone, you can't. I don't know how you do it on your phone. So now, look at this. Bam. This is beautiful. And then how can we delineate them even further? Let's use that larger text size font. Let's go to 10. Bam. And I'm on a desk all day for work. And this, man, honestly, it's not my wrist, it's my elbows. I guess I put a lot of pressure on my wrist and that goes to my elbow. My elbows get stiff. Anyways, here we go. Now we got a good little thing there. Okay, but let's go back down to the hour chart. Because then, like, once you start layering confluence like this, like, I wonder what happens right here. Why would I wonder? Because we're into this situation here where there is a 1-hour breaker, right? So we could now look at this. Is it going to find support here? This is the high of a 1-hour breaker. Is it a double breaker? Not quite. See, these are all, I wouldn't consider this a, see, but this is the breaker for that big leg down. Oh. Actually, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, there you go. Love that about the computer. There's no Command Z on a phone. All right. Cool. Is there another breaker situation in here? Low. That's kind of, that would be maybe on a lower time frame. But it could dig back down in here, but that'd be a little bit further than what I would expect it. See, now we got this breaker. Is this a 4-hour breaker though? Let's check that out. That's a 4-hour breaker. And it would be the last up close candle, which means 50% of this. But we'll set that up here in a second. I just want to talk about, let's finish talking about Friday's moves. Okay. I don't know if we'll break it down into anything other than the hourly. That way we could set up the chart for tomorrow and won't be here forever. And then I'll try to do this on Friday and then maybe have a separate like Sunday chart set up. So on the hourly, you could see what does it run into. Let's go over this double breaker scenario again. So low, high, lower, low, low, high, lower, low. It reaches perfectly into this guy, touches it, closes over 50% of this breaker formation. So now we're looking really bullish, right? It definitely, this closes above it over all these candles right here, right? What does it reach into? This fair value gap right here is lethal. It's a fair value gap inside of a breaker, and we got all these new day opening gaps. That's why I didn't put a box over it, because I was like, I know it based on these new day opening gaps. Okay. I mean, it actually served as a means for a move down too. So now it could be inverse, which is the whole premise of a breaker. It's a style of reversed order block, but we also have this market structure, which includes a sweep of a low. So theoretically, if you count this whole thing for the breaker, it's saying that the reason why it's a breaker is because it was an order block for a big movement down, which swept lows, and now there's nothing really down there for it because the sweep of the low has already occurred, right? So that's, I think, the theoretics behind a breaker. Okay. So it reaches into this fair value gap, it rejects off of this 1 hour breaker, low, high, lower, low, and then it respects this 1 hour breaker. Bingo, exactly what you want to see. Okay, and it closes right here. But as you see this, right, this was there was strong reasons to get in right here. But we'll go down to the lower time frame, and we have this. Okay, so once we do that, then we're going to go over the whole story. So we have this right here. So that's an easy target, and that's a big move if you could get in. If you got in on this fair value gap, anywhere in here, you would have been money. You could put your stop down there. Like this reach down was absolutely, you could have been money right there. And we'll see if there's any good market structure down there to say, hey, this is the time. Now is the time. Or if it left pretty quick. I'm thinking it left pretty quick. But anyways, we'll continue down to the lower time frames, and that's whenever we'll look at the real-time trading hours gaps. So 15-minute. Okay, and this is the move we're talking about. Okay. So, as you can see here, it already fed this, and it's in this consolidation, right? It swept lower first, and then it went higher, okay? And in the process of this, it closed the real-time trading hours gap with the wick, okay? So this is actually a beautiful study, okay? So behind this wick, there's lots of price, right? But maybe in this one part above this, it's a little thin. So it closes that part. It solidifies that block of price, you could say. But what also it does is it feeds, this is a 15-minute breaker right here. It feeds that. Where did I say the 1 hour breaker was? It was right in these two guys right here, right? That fair value gap, okay? This was yesterday's real-time trading hours gap. So it right off the open, it closed the real-time trading hours gap, okay? So on this, you could see that there is staggered lows here, but this, and you're not going to be able to see all those highs, but compared to the highs I just saw earlier, or I just highlighted earlier, this isn't as easy of a target as the highs sitting like right up here, I believe. No, that's not right. They're like, oh yeah, there's one of them there left. There's one, this failed to reach. There's several of them here though in electronic trading hours, right? So this was a prime pot. But like if you wanted to get the most out of that move, if you were in on it, you could have looked at this previously unclosed real-time trading hours gap right there, Boom. And you could have said, hey, if it's going to close that, it might take these two highs with it. Boom. If you wanted to get real chancy, you could have said, oh, it's going to take this high and it's going to reach into this. So you could have captured, just this high right here. You could have said, okay, real-time trading hours and boom. There was news associated with it too. But I mean, this is a manipulated market. And so this is, if I like, you know what I mean? If I didn't have that little short profit goal because of the things I'm doing, then that would have been easy money. Not only that is, it left, let's go back to the hourly chart now because I want to show this down move. So on this hourly chart, if you got in up here, right? After this, I was thinking it's going to at least give back 25% of this big hourly range, right? That was my logic. I was like, it's got to give back at least 25% of that big range, something close to it. I don't know if it did. That's a huge hourly candle. Let's go back to electronic trading hours. I kind of showed what I wanted to see there, or wanted to show. I think it just did, but it was actually from the high because it was coming up here, right? And so none of this was filled in yet, right? So coming from right here down to the other one, and this might get a little confusing because we have all these lines now. The 25% mark is it would be the 75% mark. And it's kind of like right where price is trading at now. Okay. So from the high of this candle, okay, so we'll go here. From the high of this candle, once this was formed and it continued to reach up and it was at that good stopping point for that hourly breaker. Now let's go back over and check that out. This is that fair value gap from this hourly breaker with hella balance, like super balanced price up here. Triple balance, right? No. And it's even rebalanced again with this. So I'm curious to see if we get back up to this area and if we close above it, like on an hourly basis or above 50%. That's a curious thing. So we'll leave that level. But I was really looking at this level all week long. And I was like, if it gets there, that you could almost bank a rejection. Of course, you want to see it happen. It did turtle soup. It looked like it left it, and that's where I got screwed. I was like, it's not coming back. So I got in like low right up here. So I had to sit through a lot of shit as it was retracing up, and turtle soup to move down beautifully, honestly. And it looked like it wasn't going to, but I said, okay, I got in like right in here. I was like, before this candle, like, because this one came up first, I was like, it's going to give 25% back. And that 25% was about like right in here. I was like, it's going to at least give 25% of this large range candle. Like, it's not going to leave that big. It's not going to just close and continue going up. It's going to give 25% back, I think. And it did. And so I got in a good little trade there. I am mad that I missed this entry up here. But it's okay. Okay. And, yeah, so now it's kind of meandering in that zone. Again, Mondays is not going to be the best day to get in on anything. So keep an eye out for that. Let's check to see if there's any 4-hour breaker marks, 4-hour breakers. Right here, that's a 4-hour breaker. So what am I going to do? Maybe we should use a box for this. And we'll do it very light green or something. Geometric shapes, a rectangle. I like this right here. Boom. And we're going to go with that light green. Because we're expecting support right there. And we do have to get that new day opening gap lined up too. So now my chart's back to busy, but I feel a little bit more organized. So, all right, let's get this line. Let's see, we're still messing with this one. For H breaker. Bullish breaker. Buy side breaker. I'm going to do the double B here. Bullish breaker, but triple B, whatever. Cool. So I'm glad I have that now. Let's go down to the 1 hour and let's see what we see. See if those levels kind of line up. And they do. That's the top of an hourly breaker, right? So this is cool though, because it also gives us insight on entry. And I'll leave that red, that middle line red, just because, hear me out, it kind of gives us the right vantage as far as allowing us to see it enter this fair value gap. Okay, that's going to get a little bit busy if I put this fair value gap in there, but it allows us to see this breaker, and then we get a little bit of other 1 hour. Let's do this too, because we're still in the 1 hour chart, guys. This is an hourly breaker, right? If you include this whole thing, that's a whole hourly breaker. If you don't want to include this little guy right here, but maybe like another double breaker. So we're going to do this, which would do a line right here. 1H. I love that level. And being in these charts like this and doing these videos is really allowing me to grab a better grip on it. So if I'm in here every day, whenever I'm in my charts and I'm looking at this stuff, I know what these, I could understand. This isn't too much information for my brain is basically what I'm saying if I stay in touch with it. All these lines may look confusing, but as I'm able to stay in the charts and do these reviews, these journals, I'm able to stay more in queue with all of the lines. I know where they're at. I don't know if maybe that's not the best word, but that's the case. That's what I'm feeling. 1 hour. Let's go B. Because what are we looking? What am I really doing here? I'm looking for okay, where's a good time to get out at if I'm in a short, or if it comes down this far, where's a good time to go long at, right? See, and I'm not providing any real narrative as to what the market's going to do. 1 hour bullish breaker high. Cool. And again, you could span out and see these, but what's cool is whenever you let's go Command Z. Oh shit. Actually, let's do that. So what's cool though is whenever you're looking at all this stuff, you can start to see where some levels maybe there's some confluence, right? Like if we get a wick into this area and it closes above this 50% on the hourly, what does that tell me? Shoot. Tells me it's respecting bullish PD arrays. That's what that's telling me. That's funny. All right. And then we'll see what happens. I think that's a pretty good breakdown. We're in that 4 hour SIBI. We did reject off the top, you know what I mean? But look, so did we get a close above 50%? Yes, we did. That's disrespecting bearish PD arrays. Something to be said. If we get an hourly close over this bad boy, where can it go? And we'll maybe do right there. What do we got cooking up here? I know this is off of a 1 hour fair value gap, but it might be outdated at this point. But I'm going to leave it on there because it gives us the lowest reference point because there's not really any fair value gaps on the hourly above this. We get to this balanced price range right here. These are two fair value gaps that are kind of balanced. Did reject off of them. You know, it might go up to this high, break back down, and come back up here the next day. That wouldn't be a bad thing. I bet you that's something that's on the table right there. Crash into this hourly bullish, bearish order block. Respect this on the hourly chart. Close under and dip down, saving those highs for the next day. But overall bullish day. That's just a possible scenario. Does it dive down first and bounce off of some of those levels we just outlined? We don't know. But I painted two possible scenarios. A dive down into some of this confluence, right? Where are we going to look for? Where do we, you know, what do we want to let the market to tell us what's going on? So let's see where these hourly candles close at. Let's see what PD arrays are being respected and which PD arrays are being disrespected, and let's make a decision from there. Don't anticipate, right? That's where I get in trouble. Like as soon as price reaches here, buy. It's gonna support. If you have a large account, and this is something I kind of learned in demo, that's something you could do. You could put part of your lot size on a large account. Let's say you have a $100,000 account, and you could put like 4 lots, but it dives deeper, right? And now it's coming into this zone. All right, and then this is something that I've done with my fake account. I don't know if I do my real account. Maybe you should wait a little bit longer. But you could dollar cost, right? If you really think you feel really convicted, right? But you could get into some trouble because it could come all the way. It could break down bearish again. But then what do you want to look at? All right. So let's say you got in here, right? And it doesn't respect this bullish PD array, and you're in drawdown. It's because these happen at the end of the hour, right? So sometimes they'll like sitting up right here, perfect bullish respect, right? And it will dive down, give the entry, eject from and respect hourly bullish PD arrays, right? So that's like a quick 20 minutes you could see. Okay. So you could get in right there, and if it rejects out of this 50%, you're probably good. But if it stays and maybe even closes below this, you should get out of the trade immediately. So that's just something I'm still learning, and that's something maybe I might mess with or I might not. I'd like actually now that, and I don't think actually, if I were to, if ICT heard me say that, he'd probably be like, no, don't do that. What you do want to do is break down to a smaller time frame and wait till you see the market structure, maybe a order block formation, and then get in after you see the rejection on a smaller time frame. That's what you should do. Don't ever dollar cost, don't anticipate. Although there's some pretty good little wicks you could get onto. It's kind of like, putting your hand in the cookie jar. Sometimes mom's watching and you get smacked for it, but other times she's not. You could grab that, you could get a cookie for no penalty. But that's really not the mindset you want to operate on, right? You want to see that smaller time frame stuff. Speaking of smaller time frame, let's go down to the 5 minute and let's check this out. We'll spend a little bit more time on Friday's action. I got some like potential. I got prospects for Sunday lined out, right? Cool. Now let's check this out. I'm gonna call this and these weren't all this breaker stuff. There weren't breakers. So these things weren't breakers until this made it a breaker. It has to pass. It has to take the high, right? So on the 5 minute, what do we see here? It broke into this fair value gap again off the open and then rejected out again. Even still on this, those lows are looking really jagged, really spaced out, right? And you're even getting into some 5 minute breaker action here, right? So this could have been a confident entry, right? And that's a 1 hour bullish breaker high that we already just, talked about. I didn't have that on there before, but I should have, And so, like I said, I'm dedicating my life to this stuff right now. I've watched a couple of videos. I'm going to maybe turn one more on tonight. I'm reading a pretty good book. It's like the second one of the 3-Body series, so I'm kind of in debate what I'm going to do. But I am on the grind. I did watch like 2-3 hour or 1 hour, 1 hour and a half videos, maybe 3 today. I do want to get all of the 2024 stuff done before he comes out with 2025, so I do have to press into that some. So, but anyways, even on this, it looks jagged and it touches this fair value gap, touches the order block beautifully, and rejects, right? And then it gives us this kind of like fake out. We think it's going to do the same thing as it did yesterday, right? And it doesn't. It comes back down to this resistance, half of this fair value gap too on top of that. I mean, come on. This is telegraphed all the way. It's running into bullish PD arrays. It's respecting them at this point. Those juicy highs are up there. It's telling us what it wants to do. Let's check this out. I just want to do a little bit of an order block study just because I like to keep that stuff fresh in my mind. What is an order block study? I just look for, you see, there it is right there too. Wonderful to see. And is this, whoa. I don't want to speak out of turn here. Okay, so this is an order block right here, for instance. And this is a bullish move, so let's check that. Does it hit 50%? And there's something else really cool in here too that I'm sure even ICT would love to see highlighted. But okay, yeah, fails to reach. That's even better, right? It doesn't reach 50%. Beautiful, freaking beautiful. And it's now it seems like it's okay. So it doesn't reach 50% and it respects 25% on the minute basis. Cool. Okay, and then now look at what we're seeing. It's back into this. We reached back into this. And it hasn't came and touched down at the bottom. It fails to reach the bottom of this BISI, of the 4-hour BISI that it climbed down that I was kind of mentioning. And then now it wants to take off out from it. But interestingly enough, after this, right? The little fake out, right? Oh, it's going to do what it did yesterday. It's not going to take those highs again. No, I didn't think that. A lot of times right now, what I'm finding, which is really cool actually, is I see something on the charts and I'm like, oh, it wants to go for that. And I'm in full, this has messed me up because I'm in full conviction it wants to go for that. And then so I take positions in accordance with that mindset, but it doesn't do it. It actually does the opposite. But then what happens the next day? It does exactly what I thought was going to happen just one day later, right? Insane. So that's something I have to realize is like, it's not going to do, it may take one extra day to do what you think it wants to do. Now look at this, kind of hidden. And if you watch ICT stuff, you kind of get familiar with him joking about like, oh, they're going to hide things. They're going to hide it. But you can't use this fair value gap right here because this is the 930 candle. If it was a 931, you could. But there's no other fair value gaps. The first fair value gap that is presented is right here. Where do you put your entry at? Boom. It's returning to it. We think it's going to go bullish, right? Boom. You put it right there. Stop right here. You got 50% of this guy, the high of this guy. If you really wanted to get conservative, you could put it down here at this juncture, or even 50% of this guy, a little bit lower than that candle that's, adjacent to like this candle. But really the actual place to put it would be there, theoretically, if you're entering on this fair value gap, because it's the candle's low next to it. That would have been a safe spot. But that's interesting to see. Wow, perfect revisiting. And the fact that it left this guy, you're like, it's going to at least come back up to here. But then now it's taken off. It just takes off, which was so cool to see. I was a part of it, but I didn't that makes me excited for the future though. Whenever I don't have like profit limits, I could have juiced this whole thing at least to that real-time trading hours gap or the next high above it. Would have been a safe bet. So that was a good little first presented fair value gap study. Thank you. And especially now it has this one. Let's just look at all those highs again, because it's kind of disgusting. Because like if you think that's another failure swing, like legitimately, you really feel that that's another failure swing, we are going to have to go to a higher time frame. That's or I'm not saying anybody did, like, you know what I mean? Whatever. But maybe some people did. I don't know if that's even a logic. But the high I was talking about was right here. And it's like, oh, it's going to fail again, you know? But, like, come on, now that it built this one and then crashed down. So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 highs right here. I mean, and if you get worried about this, like this was a breaker formation right here. That's another reason, like a bearish breaker, another bearish breaker that got like just decimated. So it's disrespecting bearish PDRAs and respecting bullish ones in my eyes at this moment in time. So we'll see what happens in the future. Okay, but that's like, now we know, we have good context. Where does it return to? First presented fair value gap on the 1 minute chart. Freaking on the nose, man. Like, I mean, it overlaps it a little bit, but if you just, you know, do whatever you want, but that's cool to see. Again, this is not financial advice whatsoever. This is just me and my personal journal breaking down price. Right? And I'm acting like I'm talking to people and presenting information because that actually makes me more accountable to deliver better information. So what do we see here? We got that 4-hour SIBI, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. So it should keep price down theoretically. What does it do? It gets up to the top of that. But then we already showed this level right here, right? And this is the most interesting thing because after it did kind of fake a low, but I didn't get into any of that at all because I wanted to see this area touched first because I felt like it would. And it's interesting, right? We got the 3 driest right here. And this is a really interesting part of it, is that it's 1, 2, and 3, okay? And so what do we got there, you know? And then this one, it seemed kind of fake to me a little bit, but I did get in like right here. And then I did have to sit through considerable amount of time before it delivered. I had all I needed was this for my profit target. It was like right in there, but it did take this low and go down a little bit deeper. And that 25% was like right here of that 1 hour. I already kind of explained that. It was like right here. So I felt really safe right there. It did take some time though, man. And so it's like, okay, what is the order block? What is the 1 minute order block? Well, this is the freaking coolest thing in the world, right? This stuff. I was actually already really confident after I seen this, all right? And this retracement didn't really scare me at all because it rejected off of 50%. I was like, I'll allow it. Even if this one, I thought this one was honestly going to come to the bottom again and touch it, but we see this perfect delivery to the top of the gap. It closes a little bit above it, but it's an hourly thing and it's respecting it as a whole. And there's no hourly candle that closed inside of this gap at any point. It's just wicks on the hourly chart. We'll go reference that again. But I do want to draw this because this is an order block, you know, that fed a fairly, I don't know, it just didn't get too volatile off of it on the downside, I don't believe. I mean, it did feed a decent move. How many handles was that to that low? So if I got in like a shitty entry, which was like right here, 630, I was really happy with 540. So I was like a 90 handle move, but it ended up going, like, I mean, I wouldn't take anything past, like, you could have gone into this order block, which is, that's still too much. That's trying to be a little too greedy, but it did go all the way down to that SIBI, to the bottom of the SIBI and reject it off. I would say, like, best bet, like, right here. Like, that's like, just get that, you know? And that was a 100 handle move from a crappy entry, but if you got in at a decent spot, like right here, a little bit more than 100 handles, which is 400 points. I think people need to start presenting their it's whatever. It's what, like, you know, because 100-point handle. Maybe that's someone ever needs, so I don't want to diss on that. But this is, I just highlighted that order block right there. Okay. That's what you want to see. Is that the order block? Yes, that's the order block. It did color outside the lines. You could even call this a rejection block, that wick right there. Because that's a little bit, this faded this order block just a hair. Right? Which, in the end, whenever you look at it, it did close over this on the minute. It's up in here quite a bit. Is it going to run it over? It might. We got triple eyes up here on the minute. You know, so that's just all I got to say right there. We'll see what happens. So I'm just going to leave that highlighted. It kind of fits in there nicely. I know what it is. Where are we at now? Oh, one more thing before we go is let's get that new week opening gap. Can't leave without that. Okay. Where is it? 6 p.m. Ooh. This is really cool. I love this stuff. This is going to allow us to do damage, bro. I like to do these in orange. Let's do the tags. It's supposed to keep these on your chart for 5 weeks, according to Mr. ICT, and it is the 24th, I think. Let's see, August 24th. Perfect. And then now we'll draw the low. Is that a big enough range so we could throw a little Fibonacci, a little Fibberooski? And this is what I like to do, since it's not too big of a range, but I do want to have 50% on there. We're going to do it like this. And then now I'll even do, just for further education, for further clarity. Where's this orange line? We already know what it is, but let's label that. I wish we could change, like, so now that's the only thing that I'm bugged with is, like, can we change where's the font? Where are the fonts at? Like, coordinates, visibility. Like, I don't know how to edit these fonts, bro. See, that's the same settings, right? Just brings us back to this. Style? Like, where's what the hell, bro? Oh well, we got it on there. Alright, I'm happy with that. Is that correct? I believe that's correct. What did it already do? Close underneath it, reject it out of 50%. What is it doing now? Left this low. Got another low. It's up at the top of that 4-hour BISI. We could see this 1-hour action. It's a little bit higher. Let's get at least 50% to this 1 hour bad boy, because the 4 hour is a little bit shorter. So we got the chart we got the fib kind of set up for that now. So we'll just change the color. No, it seems busy, guys. It does. I know. My brain can handle it. I see pretty happy or subsequent encroachment. One. That's really what I want to see. Now I got the. And that'd be a good study too. Like all these levels are going to be like even. Let's just go back to this. Let's just see where they would be. Let's go to like 2.5. Let's put it in green. Let's go 7.5. Let's put it in green. Let's see how close I'm pretty. So I like them. The 5. Look at that 25 right there in that mean threshold of the like that level, and even here freaking good level. I'm gonna leave those on there, but I'm gonna actually do CE 1 hour 1H BISI. I like those. That was my thing right there. Actually, all these little ones. So this is not too much information for my brain now, but I came in here with the hopes of simplifying the chart, but then now I actually feel a lot better about my chart, but it's not any simple. Take it. Well, I kind of do that for anonymity. I don't let anybody really know who I am, so whatever. Big recording.